I'm here with a very, very special guest and friend of mine. His name's Mitch. Welcome, Mitch.
Happy to be here.
Glad to have you here, man.
Always.
Mitch is the CEO of Mastered Marketing. I just thought it'd be great to bring him on here. And I won't keep talking about his accolades and all that. It's just good to have him on here and get a little glimpse into some of the knowledge he has with marketing, just to share it with you guys. Even though we don't always catch up, I feel like there's always been that deeper understanding. It's like, I don't know if it's like an entrepreneur thing where you just like, you all know you're heading somewhere. And so you just connect with people who are heading somewhere as well. So
yeah, it's just the energy.
Yeah, the energy.
Really well, growth focused and always want to like learn a new thing. They just tend to mesh well, I think, which is maybe why you and me get along.
Absolutely. And then funny enough, I used to live on the Gold Coast, moved to Brisbane, ended up at Total Fusion in Newstead, and lo and behold, we run into each other, a few years later. So it was all meant to be, and it's all come full circle. Man, I had a couple questions lined up already, pre-written, and one of the main ones I wanted to ask or start off with was, so what's one thing with small business owners that you think they're wasting money on right now?
There's wasting money, but I think a lot of people aren't adapting to the new way of marketing. So, they're treating a lot of their marketing strategies like it's 2020. And so, I don't know if it's kind of just investing in outdated tactics, maybe. Nailing it down to one thing, that's actually kind of tough to answer. I mean, look, if I were to say ads, you can spend money on ads and waste money or make money. So obviously how you tackle it is good. So if I had to say the biggest thing that is costing literally a lot of money is just bad ads, probably.
100%.
Or just like boosting stuff with no real intention or strategy behind it.
100%. With ads, you're outlaying finance and not sure what you're going to get back. And like you just said, if you don't have a plan or strategy, you're probably just going to keep throwing money down a well.
Yeah, and look, one of the best things with ads is that you can get such fast feedback. So you can know in a week if it's on the right track. And if you haven't got the basics set up, it's easy to just, spend money for a few months and then assess if it worked. And you can blow thousands and thousands of dollars. But you can find out in a week or two and then be able to go from there. I literally just got a new client recently and they didn't have any conversion tracking set up. So they were just running ads. It's just into the abyss. And I was like, how many patients have you had? And they're like, I'm not sure. Well, you need to be able to track conversion so that you can actually see how this is performing. So I think sometimes people I'm all for winging it, but you kind of want to
talked about winging it at the start, but
just basic setup is important as well.
I can definitely agree with you because I feel like, in this day and age, anyone can start a business and you can just go to, say, I don't know, Meta, or you could go to Google and you could just put a couple dollars there thinking you're going to get a return. But it's actually deeper than that. And obviously with your years of experience in marketing, there's, for example, the client you just talked about in the medical field, did you say? There's obviously specific guidelines that you have to sort of follow so that you can get that result when you put your money towards ads.
This is a slight tangent, but a lot of the stuff that you'll hear people say, like, you have to do this, or you have to be using this, it totally depends on the business. And I think you'll learn a lot of strategy. They'll say, this is how Coca-Cola did this, or this is how Mercedes did this, but your local gym, you don't have that budget or those resources or whatever. So it is sort of varies depending on the industry. But the cool thing is, what I like to do is just look at whoever is crushing it in this space and use them as an inspiration and then go, okay, with the resources we have, how could we replicate their success in our own unique way? So it's not straight up plagiarism, of course. But I think that's where I often start. I'm like, okay, who's doing a really good job? Why is it working? What can we do to replicate that?
That's very important. And I think a lot of people forget that, you don't want to copy what's been done before, but you can learn a lot without copying exactly what someone else is doing. But you can use those strategies to maximize your own growth in your company or your own sales. Who would you say would be your biggest inspiration? Was there anyone that pioneered it for you? Did you have a mentor before you got started in marketing?
11 years ago, when I got started, I sound old now. Gary Vaynerchuk was a big one at the start. Not so much anymore, but Alex Hormozy at the moment is kind of like
he's all over the net now.
Yeah, because
can't escape him.
He's so practical, and he's do exactly this, and he breaks it down into such easy to understand concepts. So I think if anyone's interested in marketing, I'd absolutely look at Alex Hormozy. I kind of find if you're in a particular niche, you'll find brands or companies that you think do a really good job, and then you can sort of use them as inspiration as well. But like I said, it's got to be relevant to what you're doing. Like Nike's got a really cool brand, but I can't really use much of that in this space.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I think Alex Hormozi, he's like
top tier at the moment. Yeah.
and just the most implementable stuff, rather than build a personal brand.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's good, but Alex Hormozi will break it down into literally like do this, do this, do this, do this, and so on.
Absolutely. And obviously with people like Alex at the forefront of marketing, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Is marketing something that you feel like it's your calling? Because watching from afar, I can definitely say it's your calling. You've always been, switched on, and then seeing, like, literally knowing you from when you started to here, it's crazy seeing the progression. Is this something that you feel like you were called to do? Because obviously you're very good at it, very switched on.
I love marketing.
Yeah.
Doing marketing and owning a marketing agency are two slightly different things. Because I love to do marketing, but a lot of my time is spent not doing marketing. And I got into marketing because I failed miserably at a tech startup, but I still love tech.
Wow.
I love software. I love being able to create something that solves a problem and takes this complex thing and crunches it down into this simple, easy to use platform. And I'm building one at the moment, and I love that. And then I can do marketing for that. So I still will do a marketing agency, of course, but there's still a piece of me that wants to do software.
Wow, that's cool. And with the software side, you said you had a startup, and then it didn't go right, and then you switched and pivoted just to marketing?
Well, actually, during the startup, I was just wearing all the hats, and marketing was the one that was the most fun and I had the most success with. So the company's business model was terrible.
Oh.
And I spent way too much and all that. But that's part of the learning, it's fine. But I loved the marketing. And then I closed down that and had to repay a loan. So I just started doing some websites and stuff for other people, and that's how it started. I didn't actually set out to start a marketing agency. I was just doing it for myself and then on the side. And then it's sort of one thing led to another, and then I got into it. And I really do like it. But yeah, that's what led me to here. But there's still part of me that wants to go back and give it another crack.
So obviously with AI being so big, ChatGPT and all the other tools out there, it's like there's so many. This might be a hard-hitting question, but do you think there's still room for agencies with AI, seeing as you can use, not with web design, which I do, you can literally use AI to build your website. With marketing, there's literally all these tools out there where they essentially say you don't need an agency anymore because you could just plug in with AI and it does all your marketing assets for you. Do you still see that human aspect, like with agencies like yourself,
I think that
playing a
is
big role?
great question, and something that a lot of people are ignoring.
It's huge.
I think for the low-level stuff, 100% AI will replace that. Like people who, they just need the basics done, some graphics, website, just to get a presence. I think AI can absolutely take care of that. Currently, and perhaps maybe forever, it depends, but I think the strategy of marketing is always going to need a human who has the context of both the business and all this type of stuff. Because AI is only as good as what you get out of it. And you can ask it a kind of open-ended question like, I have this, can you recommend something? But for me, I absolutely use AI for getting like the ball rolling, get some graphics done, get some copy done, and then take it from there. But I've also had times where I'm like, can you just make this whole thing? And it'll give you stuff, but it's not really that good. So I think it can make a website quick, but that doesn't always make it good. And then you might say, okay, well, if I just gave it all this information and gave it the perfect instructions, maybe it could. But not everyone can do that. Also, a lot of people don't want to do that. Like, we've got clients who, if you probably could shoot your own social media content and do your own graphics, but then now you're doing content instead of running the business. So I think it absolutely will replace some things, and other ones it'll complement things. I'll be honest. Like, if I was a graphic designer, I'd be a little worried. And a copywriter, they're kind of not gone already, but I still write ad copy with the help of it, but I'd soon, Because once I've written 5 really good ads, I can then go, hey, use this as the framework, and then...
But it still took your guidance, obviously as a human on the other side, to properly understand what you were trying to achieve, because you can prompt AI to a certain extent, and it might get better in the next 5 years as to how advanced AI gets. But at the moment, even with building websites, I feel like I still have to really guide it, and sometimes it will just spit something completely wrong.
Yeah.
I end up swearing at the AI sometimes. Like, I get frustrated. I'm like,
I reply
you
like,
dumb.
bro, you're not getting it. I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude, but you're not getting it.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, you're literally coming at this AI bot because it's not understanding what you're saying. So I completely agree with what you're saying. I still feel like there's that human touch, and like you said, you can still automate your SEO and you can do your copywriting. How do you think someone in graphic design or in copywriting can still, quote unquote, maintain their jobs, learn something else,
or figure out how to, like, I think you've got to get into the strategy side of things. I think strategy, no matter not even marketing, just like anything, people are always going to need strategy, guidance, that type of thing. It's easy for people like us to say, oh, it'll replace that, but it's because we know marketing.
Yeah.
So someone who doesn't know, like, I don't know anything about, let's say, like makeup. I could go into ChatGPT and go, hey, recommend like a really comprehensive makeup plan and tutorial that I can do for my wife. I'm going to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know. If you said, hey, grow my personal training business, and it gave you a bunch of tips, you kind of need someone who either is a PT or understands marketing to look at that and go, okay, that bit makes sense, do this, expand on this bit. Because AI is fast. It can be good, but it doesn't mean it's good by default, if you know what I mean.
100%.
You need that context.
How important do you think is creative testing versus audience testing in marketing?
It's 100%. Like, there's interest targeting is, I'm not going to say completely useless now, because it's, fuck, no, I fucked it up.
That's all right. Good.
One more time.
We could go. I was like, how
Sorry.
is audience creative targeting?
You could just say creatives versus interests.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
This brings me to my next question. So, how important do you think is creatives versus interest as far as audience targeting in
With
marketing?
paid ads?
With paid ads, yeah.
Creatives is the only thing that matters now. But the old method was, you split different like interests and people who like this page or people of this age. Totally, I'm going to say not completely irrelevant, but not something to focus on at all. These days, it is 100% about the creatives in terms of the creative quality, the volume of creatives you put out, and then most importantly, your creative is the targeting. So if you put out an ad that's like, hey, physio clinics who want to grow, saying that in it will send it to people who are interested or more likely, like, that is the targeting, if you know what I mean. You don't need to do all these little interests and all these split tests and stuff like that. Just put more ads out. In fact, we have a guy at Meta who is potentially saying that they might be removing interest targeting altogether.
Wow.
So it's literally let the AI do its thing.
Yeah.
Create ads that call out a specific customer, and the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah.
When it comes to lookalike audiences, which is basically people who are similar to people who have visited your website or have become a conversion, that is still up in the air. Some people say it's great. Some people say it's pointless. Same with retargeting. Like, retargeting is now kind of built into your default ads. So if you send an ad to someone and they click on it once or twice, it will automatically send them another ad rather than needing another campaign.
So that's live right now, that retargeting thing. Because most recently, a couple of weeks ago, I think we had someone working in one of my businesses, and they were doing the ads, and they had to set up the retargeting. But it's good to know that now this is automatic, the retargeting.
You can definitely do more granular retargeting. So, for example, if you shoot a video and you want to retarget people who watched 50% of that video with this other ad, you can absolutely still do that. Yeah, right. And you still should have a retargeting campaign, but it's just there is a bit of default retargeting built in now. And then just quickly on the audiences, so what we do is we literally keep it super broad. So it's just age and location.
Right.
That's it.
No interest.
No interest targeting.
Yep.
We keep it as broad as possible, because the more filters or more sort of criteria that you add in makes it more requests to Meta, I suppose, which means you sometimes have to pay more because it's trying to get what you want. But we've often found that if you just leave it super broad and you have good ads, it'll find the people you need.
Right. And you can, once you capture those people with the good ads, then you can make an audience from those people?
Still? Yeah, so that's like the whole lookalike thing.
Yeah,
so,
gotcha.
If you get 50 conversions, you can then, instead of targeting a broad audience, as in like just age and location, you can then do the lookalike audience. So find people who are similar to this. But I still have not found any rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes it works really well, and other times it flops completely. So it's just testing. We're in that sort of transition phase with ads at the moment where there is no clear answer. Some people say, like Meta says, you should keep your campaigns really simple and just have 3 to 5 ads per ad set.
Yeah.
But then other people are like, no, like add 100. So you never fully know. I just think make good ads and don't be afraid to put more out. It definitely has made it more time consuming and resource intensive to make high quality ads and lots of them. But the good thing is that can now kind of be your main focus. If your ads aren't working, it's either the creative or the offer.
Gotcha.
It's very rarely the campaign setup or this little tech stuff that used to be really confusing, or you felt like you needed an expert to show you how to do the right settings. Now it's literally just put good ads out and AI kind of does it.
Wow.
Which is another thing, not so much, I guess you could say it's AI, but media buyers and people who just set up their campaigns are becoming less valuable as well, because what used to be super useful with the let's do all this test of these audiences and change this bid strategy and all that, like that's becoming less necessary. So I'd also be kind of worried if I was one of them.
100%, because AI is now just doing it. It's thinking for you. So, so tell me, Mitch, what would you say was one of the biggest early mistakes you made in business, or say mastered marketing, for example?
The biggest one with business, and I always say this to people starting a business, is validate your business or product or concept before you invest a heap of time and money into it. So, like, for example, if you want to sell t-shirts, just get like 5 to 10 and try to sell those and see if people like it before ordering 5,000 and then finding out that they don't want it. Same thing with the software. I made this big mistake of like trying to build this big extensive thing and get it perfect so that it was ready for the world. And then you launch it and realize that half of the stuff that you had people don't even need, or they might want something completely different, and you can't figure that out until you actually put it into the market and see what they want. There's a great short book. It's an easy read. It's called the Mum Test. And it's how to, I think it's like how to ask customers the right questions when everybody's lying to you.
Wow.
Because they're just being polite. Hey, what do you think of my business? Oh, yeah, it seems cool. We pay for it. You know, you've got to validate your concept before investing heavily.
I love that. That's great. Great point. Can you walk us through one of your client wins, the process from the start to the end result?
Yeah, for sure. So the first thing I figure out is what is their goal. So what do they want to achieve? And trying to get that as specific as possible, because just grow the business, well, there's 100 different things you could do for that. So what are the 1 to 3 things that if you achieve that, the rest would take care of itself? Normally, it's more customers. So then you go, okay, let's say we want more customers. What are your top selling services or products or most in-demand stuff? And we go, okay, cool. Now, how do we package that in a way that is as compelling and sexy as possible? So like really good landing page, good follow-up process, making sure the service itself is really good. Make some really good ads, design some good assets, put it out there, and then just keep refining and then measuring progress and see how we're going. What I say to clients a lot is, what are the big dominoes? So like if we just got these few pieces, because there's 1,000 things you could do.
Absolutely.
But you've only got so many resources and budget. So I'd go, cool, let's start with this. Get that down, sweet. So oftentimes it's like, start with your Google ads. Let's just get Google ads so your phone's ringing, people are coming in. Then let's do the meta ads, which are a little bit more, you need more creative and a bit more time. That's paying for the marketing. Then we'll do like the SEO, which is important but not immediate. So once you've got the money coming in, you've got a bit more flexibility to do that. Now you've got your ads sorted, your organic search sorted. Now you've got a bit of breathing room to do social media, brand, the sort of nice to have but not critical things.
Absolutely. That makes sense. So essentially the building blocks is, you said, figure out what the easy win is, if you want to summarize that. And then from there you can go to Google ads, and then you can work the rest out when you've got some income coming in.
Yeah, so like pick a goal, pick the clearest, straightest, shortest, easiest path to that goal. Use ads and SEO to like get there, and then you can expand from there.
Awesome. To grow a brand from 0 to 100K in 6 months, what would be your strategy?
Paid ads. Paid ads. And similar to what I said before, where it's like, okay, what is the best selling / most likely to succeed in-demand product? Then what's the fastest way to get customers for that? Make some killer ads, really good landing page, and just go hard on that. But I do also encourage people to think long term. So paid ads is the fastest way to get stuff in quickly. Ads is the engine, and then all your focus is just let's just make more and better ads, and that's it. And then we'll cross the next bridge when we come to it.
So a very interesting question I had was, I've got a lot of people that I meet, and I've had a lot of leads, and you approach them because they've sparked an interest in getting a website. But half the time, these are businesses that have been running for, say, 30, 50 years. They've got word of mouth clients, and they feel like websites are not important because they think they can continue to turn over year after year. What's your thoughts on the importance of having a website these days in 2025?
Oh, I think websites are so important, if not the most important piece of marketing, because everything goes to the website, whether it's paid ads, someone on the street, an SMS campaign, they're all ending up back on your website. And that is essentially like a online representation of your business. A lot of these people who don't have websites and they go, oh, we've done business without it. It's like, yeah, but you know why your business is great, but a complete stranger doesn't. So you can capture all that stuff and put it on a website. Now, a website, there's obviously a lot of variables in that. You can
Absolutely.
have great websites and bad websites. I think a big mistake people make with websites is they make ones that look nice with cool photos, but the messaging is off. So like it looks good, but it's just a couple of photos.
Yeah.
It doesn't really clearly articulate like what makes your business different or special or why I should come to you and not somebody else. It's the same thing, like you just kind of have to have one. Yeah. Same thing with Instagram. Like if you don't have an Instagram, and people look you up, people might think your business is closed.
Yeah, you're out of the loop. You're not in the spotlight.
Yeah, like if you want to go to a restaurant and you go on their Instagram, they haven't posted in 6 months, you might think that they're not there anymore.
100%.
It's just kind of like a default must-have now. But I think websites are super important, and when you're running ads to a landing page, like we spend a lot of time on getting the messaging, the design, everything super impressive.
What do you think makes Mastered Marketing different from other marketing agencies?
Look, there's probably two things. The first one is, and everyone says this, but they don't really, we focus on results, like business growth. So only the two most important things we track are, is your business growing? So like your revenue and customers, and then how much does it cost to get a customer? They're sort of the two things we focus on. Things like clicks, impressions, click-through rate, all this stuff is part of the process. But a lot of agencies, they just put these numbers in front of you to look better than it is, or just to sound fancy so you don't fully understand. But you go, oh, that sounds important, they must get it. Whereas, we're all just like, is your business growing? And then the second thing is, again, everyone says this, but we just care more. Like if your campaign's not working, it pisses me off more than it pisses you off. And we just really, really care about our businesses because, I know what it's like. I have a small business. Yeah. I don't want people to waste their money on people who aren't doing a good job. So we just go above and beyond. And you can read any of our reviews. You can call any single client and they'll probably tell you like they're on it fast. They really care. They want us to succeed because we do.
Absolutely.
They're not just a number,
And, it's funny you say that because I went on your website because every now and then I check it out and see what you guys are doing. And I got that warm family feeling. It's hard to get that from many, say, marketing agencies or even websites in general that are trying to convey that message. But I feel like you guys had a really good strategy in, how you put that together. And you can just tell you guys definitely care about your customers, just going off that alone.
Yeah, and I think it resonates with some people who just, marketing is important for every business, but it can also be fun and you can do it together and work as a team. Some people are just raw, like numbers. They don't care about being friends. They just want the numbers, which is fair enough. Yeah. And it is about numbers. But at the same time, like we want to make sure businesses feel supported and not just like we're doing a service for them.
Yeah.
So we'll send them gifts. We'll go in. We'll catch up. Like all this little bit. We intentionally don't want to be a big giant agency where I don't personally know each client. And it's funny though. One time. Because we're a B corporation, and one of our things was that we think that how much money you make isn't as important as how you make your money. So basically, we don't work with any unethical industries like gambling or tobacco or alcohol or agriculture, that type of thing. And then one time we had this guy like make fun of us of like, okay, Tony Robbins, why don't you just like
Tony Robbins.
Your about page made me laugh. You think that money's not everything, like that's the point of business. And I'm like, that's okay. You're the type of people that we intentionally weed out.
Keep away from those type of people.
Yeah, some like property developer or something just thought we were like losers, but that's okay. Like, we want to work with good businesses who provide a good service and actually help make the community better.
Absolutely.
Not just anyone will pay us.
Yeah, and I love that, the fact that you guys know that, money is, quote unquote, the only way you can move forward in life, but you don't make it the center of why you do business. You care about your actual customer. And obviously, I think in my eyes, you guys are a huge business, but obviously in your words, a small business, but you still have that mindset towards your clients. What you wouldn't want done to your small business, you wouldn't do to another small business. So it's sort of that.
We don't want to market something we don't believe in either. Like if there's a shady company and they've got bad reviews and they're known for doing dodgy stuff or not getting, I don't want to be a part of that.
Absolutely.
I'm just making the wrong. When you see someone and they're like, we made the wrong person famous. Or we made the right person famous.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of accelerating an unethical business to success. And there's some people who have got no problem with that. And fair enough. But it's like selling something you don't believe in.
Yeah, absolutely.
That doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, and I think that comes back to even talking about selling something you don't believe in. I think in this game, like the marketing agency game or the website game, you have to find people who love it, and the love for what you do is what drives your care for your customers. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people just do it for the love of money. So they end up screwing customers over, and their heads and hearts are just not in the right place. But it's good to meet business-minded people that are just focused on loving what they're doing and caring for the customer. So
because I also want to love what I do, and I love what I do when I work with cool people. And if they're not cool people, or they're just kind of dodgy people, I don't know. It's not as fun.
That brings me to another question. Social media. How important do you think social media is in this day and age where it feels like the social media game is just overrun? Is there still a market for someone to be a social media agency these days, or do you feel like
I think there absolutely is a market for that, and social media is super important. The challenge now is that the bar is so high for content that it's quite it's just hard to keep up, and that's why I love social media advertising, because you can spend all this time making a good post, but in 3 days it's gone.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's an ad, you can use it for weeks or even months. So I love being able to make really good ads rather than have to come up with content every single week. Social media agencies are great for that, but I do think you kind of have to. If you're going to do it, you kind of got to do it properly.
Yeah.
Get a videographer or someone who at least knows how to shoot and edit stuff. I do think that the old generic 3 tips to tidy up your kitchen and it's just a graphic. I think that's kind of pointless. Not pointless, but it's good filler if you don't have other stuff. But I just feel like these days it's got to be videos, punchy. It doesn't have to be crazy high production, but it just needs to be short, punchy, well thought out content.
100%.
Which is quite time consuming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either for yourself or that means time consuming for a professional, which means expensive. So it is kind of tough to find that. So, if you're a business that is serious about growing, 100% you have to be on it. But if you're my business maybe doesn't need it, is it worth it? It just depends how hard you want to go. If this is about growth, you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, your competitors are doing it.
100%.
But if you're chill and, I don't know,
you don't want to make money?
Grow, then don't, then don't bother.
Yeah,
you got to be out there at least a little bit,
100%, yeah. Nope.
Oh, actually, that is one.
So what do you think AI will replace in the marketing space?
I think graphic design. I think copywriting is kind of already borderline replaced. Even stuff like automation is becoming a lot easier. A lot of the media buyers are becoming less important because the AI kind of does the whole thing. I think the things that won't be replaced is strategy, videography, obviously speaking and maybe PR and stuff like that. The stuff that you kind of need a person behind it.
100%.
And videography is one of those things that it's such an important skill. If anything, I feel like because the bar for social media is so high now.
Exactly.
I feel like videographers are becoming more in demand because they can just shoot it, chop it up.
Yeah.
Video editing, maybe.
Big time.
Is a bit could it be a little bit replaced or at least speed things up? But if you're a good videographer, you can use the video editing AI to speed up that process and put out more content. So,
100%, yeah. Nah, I think that's completely accurate. And especially with videography, I feel like you're saying, everyone's a social media person, so everyone's filming and putting up content, but not necessarily, but not everyone's good at editing and putting out the right kind of content. So if you have someone who's skilled in that area, of videography and editing at the same time, or utilizing AI, I'm sure they're going to get ahead with social media.
Yeah, and I think no matter what you're in, don't fight the AI because it's just inevitable. Learn how to use it to accelerate what you do, either in more output or better skill sets, or that takes care of this so you can focus on this. If you're just I spent 4 years at uni studying graphic design, so I'm sticking to my guns, like, it's just,
Yeah.
I just don't think it's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's like Thanos.
100%.
You know what I mean?
You got to ride the wave, or you're going to be
and I'm the
left
same
behind.
marketing agency. You asked before, is there a need for marketing agencies? And I think there is, but there is becoming less of a need.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out, okay, when it gets better and it can do the thinking for you, like what's our role?
Yeah.
You got to think about that. There's that quote that like only the paranoid survive or whatever.
Wow.
So you kind of got to think ahead. Don't fight it.
Only the paranoid survive. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.